when there is a run on the dollar, that's going to be a huge bull cycle
into all the other
into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. They are going to run, and that will create a huge bull cycle. It will be a more cataclysmic. I think there is. I mean, every time there's a halving, which used to be called a halvening.
Yeah.
Every time there's a halving, the next time I'll be calling it the Hing, and then it'll be just like the H. But we're going to have a reduction in supply. And when you have reduction in supply, there will be more demand. There will be a higher price. That, in general, will keep happening. But I think the real, the point at which it all ends up stabilizing is when we no longer are using any fiat currencies, no government currencies, no political currencies, no currencies that any one, authority figure can manipulate.
And
don't bet against the halving.
Yeah.
That changes everything. The supply shrinks, the demand increases. The price goes up. That's natural economic supply and demand. We're also getting to the point where it opens up at retail. 85% of retail is controlled by women. Only 1 out of about 6 Bitcoin wallets is held by a woman. When retailers realize that they can save 2% on every transaction if they accept Bitcoin, and when they start saying, I only accept Bitcoin, then the women will all have Bitcoin wallets and they will continue to control 80% of retail spending, but it will also be in Bitcoin.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we have Tim Draper in the house. And guys, we know he's not going to give us the whole truth. But he says fiat is going to die and there's going to be a run into digital assets. And that is definitely correct. But then he doesn't give us the truth when he says there's not going to be any government money. Guys, we know the central banks has used the major big banks and big corporations to control crypto from the beginning. And when we look at this digital asset space, we don't have a lot of women in it. But we know as this economy gets tight, only thing they have to do is dangle that carrot. We've seen this movie before, and we know the women are going to come right on in order to save money. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And then we had Dan on CNBC saying that Bitcoin has no value and it's just FOMO. And again, guys, we've seen this movie before, playing nothing but the Hegelian dialectic. We know the machines are about to rise, and they're going to be paying each other with crypto. And that crypto is sitting on blockchain, so therefore you'll never be able to cheat the machines. And we had Larry Fink on AI. And guys, remember the whole talk about Bitcoin, it uses too much energy. Now we have this data center talk and we need all this energy. Never forget the Hegelian dialectic. It works every time. It'll move you towards your agenda. And then we have the drums are beating. Joe Biden. Guys, we know we're in a tight space right now. We know the crisis is coming. I can't say it enough. Educate your friends and family. If they don't listen, keep it moving. Just make sure you're prepared. Just let them know I told you so. Remember, guys, we're just watchmen on the wall. As long as you warn them, it's on them. Because the drums are beating are biblical. And then we have the Fed, guys. The Fed knows the inflation is not going anywhere because all the inflation we see right now is nothing but corporate greed. They're going to keep these rates higher for longer to destroy this whole legacy market so then therefore they can bring in the fourth industrial revolution where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Longer term, let's start with Bitcoin as a whole.
Yes.
Does it behave like a growth stock or a store of value? That's really at like the crux of it. And so far, we've seen it acting like the latter, right?
Right. I mean, right now it's doing well, but I still think that longer term it has no yield support.
Right.
It's basically just FOMO. And I think eventually it's going to go down. I think eventually this is going to unravel, that there's really
Bitcoin
nothing
as a
there.
whole.
Bitcoin, yeah.
How low does it go?
I mean, I see no value in it personally, so it probably goes back to like the 40s or 30s easily.
Oh, 40s or 30s is only, it's not as bad as below 20.
Could get there too.
Okay.
Next ice age.
So then tell me about Coinbase, your call today.
Yeah, so the call today is basically, look, I mean, volumes have been strong. I mean, we said that the hodlers have won. They won Q1. So the volumes were just so strong. Consensus is underestimating, what they're going to put out in terms of revenue by 40%. We had to take up our, revenue estimates and EBITDA. And just to be fair, we had to take up our price target, but we still see massive downside from where the stock trades today.
Right, which is your broader thesis that Bitcoin eventually
Bitcoin goes lower,
down, yeah.
Interest fades, and take rates, which is kind of what they earn, are going to come down with competition.
It feels like we've been talking forever about how Coinbase has been trying to diversify its business. How successful or not successful have they been in the last 12 months?
Not really, right? So it's basically still just Bitcoin, and also all these altcoins, all these yield supporting businesses are not really taking off. Whether it's staking, et cetera, those remain very small and insignificant.
Okay, let me just ask you, because
Yes.
your take on Bitcoin is interesting. Gold, then, do you believe gold will continue to go higher?
I mean,
That
it's
is
been
the store
around.
of value?
Yeah, that's probably been around. I mean, I personally believe more in real estate. You had Adam Newman yesterday here. It's probably a better call. But yeah, I guess gold, I mean, we're used to it. People can, we have like a predisposition to like it. I think Bitcoin is right now purely driven by FOMO.
Okay.
The combination, AI cannot truly happen unless there's a huge investment in infrastructure. The amount of energy that is required for AI is enormous, and the amount of power generation. We will run out of electricity if we are going to fully adapt to a full AI world. And so the need to build on, and this is all going to stimulate our economy, by the way, to build out a more AI, and which at the backside is that means building out more electricity power, whether
with the
that
data
is
centers,
data
obviously,
centers and all that.
consume so much.
And we're going to have to be building out, tens and tens of gigawatts, not megawatts, gigawatts. And we're talking trillions of dollars of investing. And so the opportunity is enormous in the coming years. And this is one of the fundamental reasons why I believe the United States is leading this. But let's be clear, I'm talking to political leaders in other countries, and their desire to build up data centers, AI, technology, at the same time decarbonization. So this is why I remain to be a little more constructive, why I believe there's elevated inflation in the world.
I want to get a secure information, but my expectations sooner than later.
Is the message to Iran in this moment?
Don't.
American troops at risk as well?
We are devoted to the defense of Israel. We will support Israel. We will help defend Israel, and Iran will not succeed.
The narrative disruption this week, because now the Fed has 3 inflation reports that it can't argue against that are a little hotter than expected.
And the bulls can't really explain them away either, can they?
That's right. So what we would need to see is April and May CPI improvements, which is in the future, and then keeps the Fed from standing in the way of the economy. What we don't want is a Fed that wants to further slow the economy, which is rate hikes. And I think if they just do even one hike this year, it's still actually a good environment for stocks.
One cut, you mean?
Sorry, one cut.
Yeah, let's be clear. See, that's a Freudian slip. I mean, because the greatest fear of all is that they're going to have to hike again, however remote that possibility seems today. And even if you put into the soup all the Fed commentary that we've gotten of late, just seems to be push off rather than push up.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar, because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war. And we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.